The latest jobs report clearly shows America has avoided a recession. Let's bring in Dan Deming at KKM Financial. Dan, that blowout number of 353,000 Americans added to payrolls in January is not what the Fed wants to see. What's the market reaction?
Yeah, interesting dynamic last week, Angie, when you look at the reaction to the various data points and the earnings. And certainly when you look at the jobs report from last week, much stronger than anticipated, and the revisions as well, Angie, as they went back and revised up the previous 2 months. And overall, that did shift the dynamic as far as expectations for the Fed moving forward, as we saw rates move higher and the dollar move higher. But when you look at the markets, because of the strong earnings, the equity markets were able, for the most part, particularly the big tech names, were able to move higher and lift those indexes higher when you look at the NASDAQ and the S&P.
Nice rallies there. What are you watching this week?
This week, I think more earnings. We're still continuing to move through the earnings cycle, some consumer staple names, some other names in some of the other sectors that we'll be watching this week. Not much on the data front, but a lot of Fed speak. That's the other big factor this week, Angie. Now that we have made it through the announcement, the Fed will be back out starting basically on Tuesday with several Fed speakers and moving throughout the week. And that will set the tone for the interest rate markets moving forward with the expectations that cuts are coming, but still when those cuts are coming is yet to be determined.
Dan, did that outstanding jobs report push back the Fed's rate cuts? Jerome Powell is saying he's not going to cut rates until inflation falls to 2%.
When you look at the CME FedWatch tool, Angie, as far as the expectation for the first Fed cut, they basically have taken out the March potential now. It's down below 20% and even adjusted in May and June. So the possibility is still there that they could cut in May if the economy shows some moderation and inflation continues to show signs of moving lower. But by and large, the expectations now post-jobs report has shifted the dynamic to move those cuts further out into the year.
Good to know. Thank you, Dan.
All right. Thanks for having me, Angie.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.